For everyone already dialed in, I put the link to the agenda in the chat window. Recommend you pull that agenda up. I'm going to be talking through that and probably clicking on a couple of the links in there just to show you where information is as we go along. And I've got 20 participants, so let's go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone.
Ryan,
Yeah,
you're going to need to put the link in there again for those that joined after you put the link in there or the information in the chat.
I'm putting another link in there.
Thanks.
It comes, absolutely. There we go. One more agenda link in the chat window. So good evening, everyone. I'm assuming if you're dialed in, you are traveling north this weekend to Elkton, Maryland for the second ever NICA Regionals event. I'm Brian Russell, League Director, joined by a couple folks on the staff tonight, Shel Frost, our Programs Director, and Dave Droke, one of our Team Trail Corps Committee members. All three of us will be there helping support the event, help support you, and we'll talk about Team Trail Corps here in a minute. So this town hall, just start off the bat, is going to be a little bit different for us in terms of this isn't our event. So we will do the best job we can of answering your questions. I will go through some of the information that's available, and really the landing page for the regionals is the best place to go to find everything you need. But having been there last year and having a sense of what goes on, I'm going to point out a couple things that you probably all want to pay attention to, either before you head up or while you're there at regionals. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and put that agenda up so everyone can see it. And let me just start with, we're here to answer your questions. So I'll spend maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes talking through what I think is important for us to know. At any time, throw a question in the chat window. Shell will help us moderate and get your questions answered, or put your electronic hand up and just get the question on the table so we can get it answered. As is habit and tradition here in North Carolina, the first student athlete to get a question on the table is going to get a super awesome prize, bottle from Fidlock, one of our league sponsors, actually our adventure sponsor, and nothing more adventurous than an 8+ hour car ride to Elkton, Maryland, perhaps. For NICA Regionals. So student athletes, we're here for you, make this a great event for you. So get your questions on the table. First one gets a prize. So like I said before, the landing page, NICA has done a pretty good job of putting everything you need to know on the landing page. There is still some information about to be published over the next 24 hours, and I'll point those things out to you. But really, these first tabs here on the landing page are probably what you want to have at your fingertips for the weekend. And we'll go through a couple of them as we talk about day by day when we get up there. But let me give you a little bit of background about NICA Regionals. Like I mentioned, last year was the first time, and it was really the combined effort of the Pennsylvania League, the Maryland League, and the New Jersey League, who all just wanted to do a regional event. And they all just came together and spent 6+ months planning it out. This year is a little bit different. They decided that was a lot of cooks in the kitchen, so to speak. And so really the Pennsylvania League is the core league running NICA regionals, with some NICA staff augmentation, a lot of planning from the NICA staff leading up to it. And I just mentioned that to say, if you see someone from the Pennsylvania staff up there, or any of the NICA staff running this thing, go ahead and thank them. It is a ton of work, as you can imagine, to pull off bringing 11 leagues together for a weekend in Elkton, Maryland. Let me talk probably one of the most important things, and thank goodness for Diane LeBlanc, our league registration manager, who's been going through the registration files for the past couple weeks. And here's what's different about this event in terms of registration. There is the NICA Regionals registration, and you do get to that by going to the landing page. Race registration closed last week. General admission and spectators is still open through tomorrow. But even after tomorrow, the price just goes up and it doubles. So you can kind of register on site, and they don't want to advertise that. But the important part of this is everyone going to regionals needs to register, not just the student athletes. Coaches need to register. Parents, if you want to hang out at regionals and be part of the expo area and walk around and participate in some form or fashion, you have to register. And even today, we had a couple on the registration roster, just the student athlete, that I'm pretty sure isn't driving him or herself all the way to regionals. And so I just want to stress again, make sure you have your registration for NICA regionals. It's not just the kids. Everyone that's going has to be registered in some form or fashion. The other thing, and this is a change from last year. So if you're a veteran, you're like, yeah, I went to, NICA regionals last year and I don't have to worry about pit zone because I'm a spring league. That's not the case. You have to be registered, student athlete and or a coach, registered. And for student athletes, that means practice ready, fully paid for the season, practice ready. And coach, if you intend on coaching while you're there, helping lead a ride or sweep a ride, you have to have your license level current in order to get your coach plate, their registration. So riders to get your plate, you need to be practice ready. Coaches to get your plate, you need to be fully licensed for the season while you're up there, or you just won't get your coach plate. And then just last comment about like register stuff. Please consider volunteering. We had so many of our folks last season or last year volunteer and help out in the skills area or help out with something around the area. And it was great to see so many North Carolina people pitching in, so to speak. And you know how these events run. We need a lot of volunteers to do it. So please consider doing that. Let me pause there and see if anyone has any questions about the registration process or what you need to do before you show up to Maryland.
Brian, I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a middle school who my son, who's going to be going up, who's going to be a sixth grader. He won't obviously be racing, but will be probably doing the adventure ride. He doesn't have to be practice ready to just do the adventure rides, right?
What grade again, Dana?
Sixth grade.
Sixth grade, NICA athlete needs to be registered, practice ready to participate.
Even in the adventure. Okay.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a risk liability. That's all in pit zone. Student athlete code of conduct, all that stuff is in the pit zone and needs to be signed up.
Okay. What about younger than that can do the skill zone?
Nope, because there's no registration for them, and NICA has said, hey, that's a low risk enough activity.
Okay.
But yes, it's fine for the younger kids.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep, quite welcome. Any other questions about registration? Okay, all right. Let's.
Hey, Brian, sorry, I couldn't get unmuted before you start talking again. What are they doing to identify those that are registered riders for adventure vice those that are non-NICA student athletes? Is there a wristband or is there something to identify them on a plate? What is the distinguishing feature?
I don't know, Dave. That's a great question. I don't know what they're getting when they get up there. Just the adventure ride registration. To be honest with you, we'll give that a follow up and see what it is. Yep.
Not registration related, but you do have a student athlete question.
I love student athlete questions. Is it the first student athlete question?
Yes.
Oh, feedlock bottle for who is it, Shell?
Claudia.
All right, Claudia.
How long the start chute is and how far camping is from the pit zone.
Let me see if I can get to that. I'm not avoiding the question, Claudia. Let me see if I can get to that when I pull up some of the maps, and I'll give you an idea. I don't know length of the start chute, but I'll show you on the map where it is and where camping is. Camping is not too far away. It's if you're on your bike, it's going to take you just a minute or two. It's really not that far. But when I pull up the maps, we'll cover that for sure. Speaking of maps, how to get there, I put a Google Map link in here. This is where I navigate to get to Fair Hill. If you navigate to this little chip right here, if you can see that on the screen, this is essentially the entrance to the venue. And then you'll come in here and this is all parking in here. And the big infield is in this field here. So if you navigate to that Google, you're going to get right to the entrance of NICA regionals. Speaking of maps, let me pull that up. If everyone clicks on this link, this is the infield right here. So you're coming in this way. I described those parking areas right here. I will say right away, pay attention to pit zone drop off and pick up. It's Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. There are specific times where that will be open to come in, drop off your stuff, go park your car, and then drag it through the entrance right here. Here's registration. And then on the back side of pit zone, 29, 30, 31, 32, that's the North Carolina area. So we have 4 20 by 20 squares. I know we have several teams signed up to bring some canopies. The league will have 2 canopies. This is where you're going when you get there. Drop your stuff off, go through the entrance, drag it to the North Carolina zone right there. Claudia, to answer your question, the start is right here. So staging will be right across from our area. That's pretty cool. So that'll be a short walk. And this is the start shoot, so to speak, up and around this corner. And then it still spreads out through the field right there. So I'd call it as you come around this entire thing before you really hit single track. Way over here, it's a good quarter-mile NICA guidance type of start. You're going to come uphill right here, a little bit of downhill, and then you're going to climb back up right here. It looks exactly the same as it was last year on there. Is that fair enough for your start shoot question?
She said yes, thanks.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah. Everyone will find out that I am horrible at talking and looking at a chat window and manipulating screens at the same time. I can't do it. It's just not in my wheelhouse to do. Okay. While we're on maps, let me go back to the Google map and I will show you the camping area. So if this is the entrance and this is the big pit zone field, camping is down this road in here. This is where the camping is right there. So it's not far at all. Take you a minute or two on your bike, maybe 5-minute walk from camping. And Claudia, is that fair enough?
Does that include like car camping and RV?
It's all down here, and I can't remember where they had the tent side or the RV side. I think RVs were over here last year and tents were over here, but don't quote me on that. I'm sure it'll be marked and organized, but it's all down in here is the camping.
And Brian, this is Adam. I was just wondering, I have a tent I was going to bring, but I didn't realize we were limited to so many spaces. Where can I sign up to bring one if there's still space available for it?
You mean a canopy? And how big is it?
Yeah, it's only a 10 by 10.
Yeah, is it just yours or is it for a team? Just so we know how to market.
It's the team. It's for Forsyth County Composite.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's mark you down. I'll put you on the list. I don't know if Sharon is on the line tonight with us. She was self-deemed pit zone manager, but I got you, Adam. We'll put Forsyth County down for a 10 by 10. We got the space in there.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks for letting us know. That's easy. Okay. Let's see a couple other, getting there type of things. You will check in with NICA regionals registration. Don't check in with me. Don't check in with Shell. You go to the registration table and they're going to take care of all your plates and wristbands and all those type of things. I did want to give a shout out to Dana Weselek, who is making armbands for all of our athletes with like a North Carolina color scheme on it so they can all be identified, particularly during race day. Dana, I think, like I said, if we bring those to the league tent, we put them on the table there, we'll just make sure folks get them when they check in. But thanks for doing that. And who else was saying there's fingernail polish I won't be wearing and face paint and all types of good stuff coming to decorate yourselves. Someone's gonna get nail polish on this guy, I'm sure. They probably won't leave me alone until I get nail polish on. The NICA regional staff wanted us to know or pass this word to all our folks for the campers. There's a burn ban in effect, so no open fires, but propane gas grills are okay. So no open fires, unfortunately, for the chilly nights. It looks like while we're up there. And then if anyone on the line tonight is not part of the Team Snap communication team, let me know and we'll get you in there. That's what we're going to use from kind of this point forward for any updates we need to talk about for regionals. We're going to use Team Snap the best we can while we're up there. Okay, so any questions about arrival, getting there, pit zone, offloading, where we are in the infield, general orientation? Again, go to NICA registration. Go to the volunteer tent if you want to sign a volunteer. We're not going to do that at the league level. Certainly come say hi. I'd love to see you, but we're not responsible for registration. Okay. Let's talk Saturday. We'll take a look at the schedule in a minute. I just want to emphasize we might have to do a little bit of coordination. If everyone's just willing to come help and lend a hand, particularly if you are a level 2 or level 3 coach, Every student athlete needs a ride leader to do course inspection for the race or go on an adventure ride. And we do have a few, I'll call them independent athletes. Their team isn't coming, they don't have a coach. Let's just all be flexible and support those kids who need to get out on course inspection or go to adventure ride. And we did it last year, and we didn't do signups in advance, and it worked out fine. We don't need to be overly prescriptive about it, but everyone just be on the lookout for folks that need some ride leader support. I think one of the cool things about regionals, and maybe one of the most challenging things, there's a ton to do. I would just say, as you're coming in, think about what you want to do throughout the day. There's just so much on the schedule, from adventure rides and the grid activities, and we'll talk Team Trail Core in a minute, to course inspection. The expo area is really fun, vendors and games, the skills areas there. There's just so much to do there. I would just, talk with your family or talk with your team about the things you want to get accomplished during the day. You won't be bored. How's that? There's just a ton of stuff to do. Does anyone have any questions about any of the activities that I might be able to answer? I would just say, if you go back to the event flyer, it is fairly comprehensive, and we'll tell you what's going on with all of those activities. But I'll pause on Saturday and any of those activities if anyone's got any questions about something specific.
Brian, Joey here.
Yep.
I didn't see on the schedule, are they doing the parade of states this year?
I don't believe they're doing parade of states, Joey. Yeah.
Bummer. That was so cool. All right.
Yeah,
I was going to recommend everybody.
Yeah. I think they looked at it, Joey, and they're like, there's so much on here that, like, yeah.
Right.
And people are rolling in throughout the day, and it's hard to catch everyone. But I agree. It was fun last year. I didn't like the weather last year. If you remember, it was a little rainy, but
Yeah, a little rainy, but
still a good deal. But thanks for asking. Okay. Anything else about Saturday? Okay, let's go. Going to pass it over to Dave Droke now. And for everyone's awareness, North Carolina, is providing the first ever Teen Trail Corps activation at a NICA Regionals. We were asked to do that because of our reputation and just putting in a ton of trail work. And so we were proud to do it. And Dave Droke will be up there. Joey Arnold will be up there from our Teen Trail Corps committee. But Dave, why don't you give everyone an overview? Because I know every single person from North Carolina is going to come check out the Teen Trail Corps area and make sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the place to be at last year's event weekends, from what I hear and from what I remember seeing. So I'll start by saying that we as a state we're successful because of the collective efforts of a lot of different people, coaches at the individual team level. Shell doesn't like to take credit and doesn't like me to say her name when I do this, but we owe Shell a lot for helping us organize and really get our Team Trail Corps effort off the ground. Shell doesn't recruit; she gives directive orders. It sounds suggestive in nature, but it's really directive. So, and those of you that know Shell know that very well. So a quick synopsis about what we're going to have up there. If you saw our Team Trail Corps tent at our event weekends last year, it'll be somewhat similar. We'll have our tent out there. We'll have a table. The league has bought a couple of rock crawlers so that we can use that as an engagement item to talk to people, get them interested in Teen Trail Corps. Student athletes have the opportunity to come up. They can answer a couple of questions about trail work. What does it mean? Very simply, something like identify 3 ways that your participation in trail maintenance or advocacy can benefit other trail users. So students can grab a question, answer a few of those, and then get the opportunity to drive the rock crawler. With that, there's raffle tickets, and I understand that Shell and Brian got some sweet swag from TTC to give away. No clues on exactly what that swag is, but I've never seen anything that wasn't cool from TTC. My boys and I took on the challenge of creating rock crawler courses, so it won't be just items that we pick up from the ground like we have at the other events. We actually built a couple of rock crawler courses and some obstacles. There'll be 2 different ones for the 2 different crawlers. so we can run a couple of students at a time. And what you really just heard is we need some help with volunteering at that tent. So there's some volunteer spots open. I think are they 1 or 2 hour shifts, Shell? I can't remember.
There'll be 2 hour shifts.
2 hour shifts at the TTC tent. It's open from 9 to 4 each day. So we've got the rock crawler challenge. The kids can drive the crawler, get a raffle ticket for some swag. We also have a scavenger hunt where there's a list of things that kids can go find with a camera phone, go take pictures of it. That will encourage them to either go with a buddy, go out and find a few of the items that are on the list and bring it back. Also get a raffle ticket for some prizes. And during podiums at the end of the day, there's going to be awards for the students with the most hours, girl and boy, for each grade 9 through 12. They'll be recognized regionally for the hours that they put in. Our goal, as usual, and it's a pretty tall order, but to have TTC is not only fun, but a place for people where people can come and engage, learn a little bit about it. My goal is to talk to coaches, either TTC organizers for the different states or just coaches that don't know anything about it or may want to know a little bit more about it, and just talk to them about how we did what we did here in North Carolina. And to put it on a very simple level, it's just a matter of going out and cleaning trails, cleaning drains. What we realize here on our team here in Onslow County is when Trail Week kicked off, we had a few events. After Trail Week, the students were coming to me, when can we do trail work? When can we do trail work? And it ended up being a thing where we were doing an hour of trail work before practice, almost every practice. And that was not at my discretion. That was from the students. They wanted to do that. So we created the space for them to get their hours and do that. There's some other teams that got a ton more hours than we did, but what we saw was the students bonding with each other. They had a good time. They were looking forward to some trail work and then getting on their bike and riding the fruits of their labor. So just a little bit of language to plant some seeds in your head if you're willing to come in and help us out of the TTC tent. Or if someone asks you about it, you can point them right over and we can talk to them over there. But it's all about engagement, generating interest, and hoping that we spread this out across the other states in the region so that when we do go travel to cool places on our vacations with our bikes, that there's cool trails that have been maintained by other NICA students.
All right. Thank you, Dave, for the overview, and thank you and Joey for bringing it up and doing the first ever Teen Trail Corps activation. I want to announce here, I just think it's pretty cool that we are going to have our very own Claudia Baum and Lonnie Pressler being recognized as the ninth graders across all 11 leagues that did the most Teen Trail Corps.
That's awesome.
It is fantastic. So Claudia and Lonnie, congratulations to you. You will be recognized during podiums on Sunday. So everyone stick around and cheer on your North Carolina athletes for being recognized for some great trail work. That's fantastic. We can always come back and talk about Saturday. Or does anyone have any questions about Teen Trail Corps stuff before we go to Sunday?
I was just kind of curious when he said there's rock crawling. Are we talking like gas powered vehicles?
No, I mean, as much as I would like to put student athletes in a little vehicle and drive a course, my apologies for not being super detailed. They're 1/16 scale RC trucks. They're the battery operated ones. Now, if you have a cool gas powered one, I'm sure we could find something to run over with it. But and I got to give the credit to Leonard Van Hoos. That was his idea. We're going to make TTC fun. Bought a rock crawler, and then I was encouraged to get one because he had one, and just had some fun with it. So that's where we're at.
Well, I'd be happy to volunteer if there. So you can put me down. Adam.
Awesome. It'd be good to see you there, Adam.
All right. Any other questions for the Teen Trail Corps folks? Okay, let's talk Sunday. We give everyone an overview. Much like we tried to do last season, everyone noticed even on race day, still some things to do, some adventure riding, and the expo's open. That's all good, but Sunday is race day. And so let's talk about a couple of those things. And I'm going to give folks some of my feedback from last season, what I saw. The race wave schedule is essentially published. It's right here. You'll get your plate on check-in. Take a look at the plate organization by category and where you're broken up into your staging groups. And that's how it'll be organized in that staging area. Someone will have assigned staging group A, B, whatever. So pay attention to that. Be there on time. It's a lot of kids. There's a ton of kids racing in these categories, and they'll have plenty of volunteers. But yeah, it might be a little kind of hectic there in staging. So just get there early is my advice to you about that. The call-up list. I saw a preview of the call-up list today. I want to talk everyone through how they determine where our athletes are going to be. And what I'm being told is that will be published by tomorrow. So I think everyone will get an opportunity to take a look at it at least the day before traveling up there. So the call-up list is essentially, and it's kind of our fault. One, I say that because we're a spring league, and yours truly petitioned for 2 years to get our senior student athletes to go race at regionals, but NICA said too old, too old, too old. They're college students, whatever, and seniors from spring leagues can't go. Okay. I said, what about the eighth graders then? We were missing basically a category every year if you're a spring league. And they said, okay, that makes sense. Let's, they're ninth graders in their school year, bring them on up. But that presented some kind of challenges they had to think through. Okay, now you've got, in a different category, maybe they're MSA, they have different points than maybe a regular middle school rider or the JV2 category. Anyway, what they decided to do was to use our category placement table. So Spring League's category placement tables as the means to rank student athletes. So if anyone wants to take a look at the 2025 category placement table for North Carolina, it's on the website, and your 2%, two race average, that's what was used to rank our athletes within their category. So the smallest percentage means you were kind of the fastest all the way down. That's how the ranking goes. Here's how they slide them in across all the 11 leagues. So they will take the first 11 spots in a category, and they'll randomize the state leagues, and they'll take the top rider in each state league and plug in their spot. The next 11 spots, randomized. Same thing. Second rider from each state league, plugged into the second spot for that league, and they just keep going until they run through all of their athletes. So I spent about an hour and a half today going through that call-up list and going, yep, that looks right. Category placement table. Those riders are generally ranked like they should. What I don't want to spend any time talking about is the fact that for athletes that got upgraded to a category because of their category placement rules, they gave them what they're calling like a 10% penalty to make sure they didn't get put in place of a rider that was already in that category. We're not going to argue it. That's the decision of NICA. So you might see, hey, I was on the category placement table here in this category. Don't worry about it. It's pretty good in terms of call-up lists. If anyone has a major beef with it, you can contact me tomorrow, but I think it's pretty good. I'd look through the rack and stack of all our athletes. It looks to make sense to me. And again, that should be out there by tomorrow for everyone to take a look at. The one thing I want to mention that I think caught a lot of our student athletes by surprise last year were the cutoff times. Those Northeast leagues up there do very strict cutoff times. We're a little more liberal here in North Carolina to try and get as many athletes to finish as possible. A lot of our athletes got surprised last year and we're getting pulled off the course. So kids for sure, coaches, if you're there supporting your athletes or whoever, all pay a little more attention, know what the cutoff time is and then kind of pace your race accordingly to try and make it. Like I said, it just seems more strict to me than maybe we do it down here in North Carolina. Don't want anyone to be caught by surprise. So I'll pause there. Let's talk any questions about Sunday schedule or racing or anything like that.
Hey, Brian, this is Neil Pressler.
Hey, Neil, what's going on?
Doing good. I just had one question. I was looking through this the other day. Now, and I know there's going to be coaches from all over. Is there going to be a coach meeting? I couldn't find one on here. Or we just basically come in, check in, and show up at call-ups?
That is correct. No coach meeting.
Okay, good deal. Just didn't want to miss nothing.
Okay. If you want me to drag Sean Moore up and have a coach meeting just for the North Carolina coaches, Neil.
No, that's good. That's good. I just, like I said, I didn't want to miss something I was supposed to be at.
Sean needs to get warmed up for the season too. So, all right. All
Good
right, Sean,
deal.
you're off the hook. Any other questions about um, Sunday and racing? And yeah, podiums, they'll just like always try and get them done as quick as we can. I remember actually going to rent the light set because boy, it's getting dark early. So those podiums might even be under the lights there on Sunday.
Hey, Brian, how good is the was the PA projection last year throughout the pit zone in the area for when they're getting ready to start call ups?
It depends on where you are. I don't know if they've improved it from last season, but let me pull up that map again. Um, what I remember, timing and announcers over here. And so if you were in here, it was pretty good, but way over here, I remember maybe not hearing as well. So that's why I say pay attention to the times
Okay.
on there.
Steve
Maybe they
asked,
improved it.
Steve asked, what about coach course previews?
Nothing like that at regionals. There's no like open, course inspection just for coaches early on.
I have
Okay.
one question. Um, for the call-up list, you said it was getting released tomorrow, yes?
It should be released tomorrow. They were doing a lot of changes today, Jesse, but yeah, they're promising by tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. And then once that gets released, where will we find it?
Say that one more time.
Once it gets released, where can we access it? Where will we find it?
Oh,
I think you're muted.
Brian.
yeah, because I was mumbling to myself, not knowing where it was. So see that right there, Jesse, in the racing section of the event flyer?
Yep.
Yep. It'll post there.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Okay, and then Monday, if you're so inclined, holiday weekend, it's Veterans Day. Many people might have the day off. The regionals event staff will keep adventure riding open and the expo area will be open. I will say North Carolina is packing up and leaving that morning. So the Team Trail Course stuff will come down, the league tents will come down. You are welcome to stay and check out all the stuff on Monday, but a fairly light day. And like I said, it's just an opportunity to ride. If you want to stay for the extra day. Little chilly up there, doesn't look too bad. Maybe a little rain late Sunday. I haven't heard anything from the event production staff about any type of delay or course change or anything based on that. Fairhill does have a good amount of gravel. They talked that last year about a major shift. It was super rainy, but folks that were there last year know we got some rain, raced anyway, course dried up fairly well. I think we're going to be okay for the weekend. But yeah, it looks like it's getting down in the 40s at night. So pack some cold weather gear and just be prepared for those conditions while we're up there. And that's about it. There is a ton going on at regionals. There's a ton of the event flyer, but I think that was, in my mind, the important stuff to get over to you to prepare you for the weekend. And it's going to be a fun time. It is like one of our events, cranked to 11. See what I did there? 11 state leagues, cranked to 11. Anyway, it's going to be a great time and looking forward to hanging out with all of you up there for the weekend. So let's see if we have any other unanswered questions that will go in my notebook because I don't have the answers for, and I'll ping the NICA staff in the morning.
I've got one more thing. So for warm-ups, is there either a designated warm-up loop or do you know if there's a good spot to like a road or a other trail that we can warm up on?
The cool thing about this place, Jesse, where's my map? Actually, let me go to this one. Let me go to the Google map real quick. So if this is the infield area and this is parking, see all these roads here, Jesse?
Yes,
Those,
sir.
those are open and you can ride on those.
Okay,
There's
cool.
a ton of space. It's huge.
Awesome.
Fair Hill is massive. I think Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Delaware race there, and they change their race course almost every season. Just there's so much trail, so much opportunity out there.
Great.
You'll have some space to do that. That's a good question.
Brian, how's the cell service in that area?
Moderate, I would say. It's not great. I was able to post some things. I was doing a little Instagram,
It's
picture in
better than
picture.
Mayodan?
Took a while. Maybe a little better. Mayodan.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. North Carolina, do we drive up 95 or 81?
I hate 95, Adam.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm gonna take 81. I might do it.
Yeah, I'm tempted to go 29 to Charlottesville and just weave my way from there.
Yeah. Shell, did we cover everything in the chat? No.
I think so.
Gabs?
Steve did mention he has a RV camping spot that they're not using. Was not sure if they're transferable, but throwing it out there. I'm not sure if they're transferable either, but
Transferable in internal North Carolina.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't think anybody's gonna tell someone else from North Carolina that you switch with that they can't camp there, but
I don't remember the camping police being very strict last year. I think it'll be okay.
Abel also mentioned that he'd be happy to lead a ride. So
Awesome. I've got my coach certification. I'm ready to lead a ride too. So and I did that last season. It was fun. Okay, I think we've got the questions answered. So thank you for dialing in tonight. Travel safe, everyone, and looking forward to spending the weekend with you up there in Elkton, Maryland. Everyone have a
Thank you
good
very
night.
much.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks for all your work. Thank you.